Now let us discuss sexual reproduction in plants. You might have observed in plants there are specialized organs called flowers. If you carefully observe the flower, you can classify it into sepals, petals, stamens and carpel. Stamens comprises of anther lobe and filament, and the carpel comprises of stigma, style and ovule. The anther lobe in the stamen consists of enormous number of pollen grains, which are the male gametes, while the carpel, which comprises of ovule, consists of ovary, which forms the female gamete. A wide number of flowers are observed in the nature. Some flowers might contain only either the male gamete, that is stamens, or the female gamete, that is a carpel, while certain other flowers, both the male and female gametes in the same flower. Such flowers are called bisexual flower. Sexual reproduction in plants occurs with the process of pollination. In the process of pollination, the pollen grains of the same flower or the flower of the same plant are deposited on stigma. This condition wherein the ovules get fertilized by the anthers or pollens of the same flower or plant is called self-pollination. In another process called cross-pollination, the pollen grains from a distant flower or plant are deposited on the stigma of the female flower. This is done with the help of agents like wind and insects. Insects like honeybee help in the process of cross-pollination. When they visit flowers to collect nectar, the pollen grains stick onto their feet, and while they visit the next flower, these pollen grains are deposited on the stigma of the second flower. Thus, they help in pollination. Either by self-pollination or by cross-pollination, the pollen grains which are deposited on top of the stigma now undergo a process called chemotropism. We had previously discussed in a video that chemotropism is the process in which the stigma releases sugary substances that help the pollen grains to germinate pollen tube. This tube elongates throughout the style and reaches the ovule and forms a connection at the base of the ovule. The male gamete from the pollen grains are transferred through this pollen tube into the ovule, where they fuse with the ovary or ovum and result in fertilization process. As a result, a zygote is developed. During the development of zygote or after fertilization, the floral parts like sepals, carpels, petals, etc. are either shed off or they fuse or to form the fruit of the plant. Inside the fruit lies this developing zygote in the form of seed. Now, if you break open a seed, you can find two cots on either side with a radicle on the upper side which forms the shoot and a plumule in the lower side which forms the root. Now, the cotyledons have the purpose of cotyledons is to provide nourishment to the developing embryo.